Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Jedi Night's Watch. My name is Graham, and today I am super excited to do another Hot Toys unboxing and review with you. This is C3PO from Return of the Jedi, the 40th anniversary. I got mine day one from toysbuyingagent.com. Go check them out and see if there's anything that might tickle your fancy as well. This was a figure though that I thought, I don't really need. I have the Sideshow C3PO, so it's a great placeholder, and I don't know if I really need the upgrade because it's not like one of my favorite characters, but I am super glad that I did, and we're gonna be pinning those two against each other later in the video, so stay tuned for that. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so you don't miss any new content coming your way. Alright, let's take a look at the art box that this comes in. It is your typical style Hot Toys box, but it is going to be a slip over cover, and on the bottom we do have the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi sticker, and again this is going to be die cast as well, which I think is going to go a long way with this figure. Taking that cover off, you do get the Anniversary Series box, and we've seen this with Empire Strikes Back and Attack of the Clones. Has the 40th sticker right there, and this is going to be more of like your Kenner style vintage box. It's grown on me a little bit. These aren't my favorite styles of boxes, but you do have Salacious Crumb there on the top, and you do have the warnings below as well. And getting him out of the art box and getting our first look at the figure in the clamshell here, we're going to take that off, and here you can see everything that comes with our C3PO figure. I am super excited for a lot of this stuff. This is going to be so much fun to check out, unbox, and review. Let's get the figure out here, but first, before we get a good look at that, let's take a look at the new base. Hot Toys is starting to go with this circular base. This is like the Jabba the Hutt palace floor here, and then we also have the Star Wars C3PO nameplate on the front. This is a really nice base. I really like that Hot Toys is doing this style. I do wish these lights here down below were USB-C powered. I wish they would light up, but nonetheless, it is still a really cool base, and I'm glad they're getting away from the sand rectangular bases. This does come with a normal crotch grabber as well, and it just pegs in like so, and there you have it. Now let's take a look at some of the accessories. Here are the hands that come with our C3PO. I was a little surprised to see that there weren't any articulated hands. Typically with die-cast figures, we get like articulated hands or fingers, but none here. And there's a lot of intricate parts here, so just please be careful with that. And again, they are sculpted. You have a lot of detail on the insides of the hands as well as the outsides of the hands. They all look very, very nice. I do just wish that they came with some articulated hands as well. On the figure, we do have the resting hands. And going on to the next accessory, if you want to call it that, it's more of a figure. It is Salacious Crumb himself. This is such a cool add-on. I'm so glad that Hot Toys gave us this with our C3PO. It is fully articulated. The legs, the arms, the head moves, even the tail is articulated just a little bit. The paint applications look great. You can even see a lot of detail up inside the mouth, and even like the spots on the back of the figure as well. And the ears and just everything looks great. This figure was done super well. Sometimes these accessories, like, they look a little soft, but this looks really good. He even comes with his pillow that he can sit on. It is fully sculpted, but you wouldn't know just by looking at it. It looks really, really good. And then also we do have an extra faceplate for our C3PO. It is with the eye kind of out of the socket and whatnot. This looks really good. I love the wire look to it. And then it just pegs in on 4 posts, and the light shines through there. But probably not one I'm going to use just because, I don't know. I just want this iconic C3PO that's in front of us right now. And taking a look at him, he looks magnificent. This figure is mind-blowing. I can't believe how good this looks. And in hand, it feels so good being die-cast too. But when we get close up, you can see just like the proportions when we compare it to Sideshow. It looks so much better. I didn't think it would, but it does. But also like the rust effects. It's got like surface rust and a little bit of pitting as well. And it just makes it look so much more realistic. The wires in the abdomen area look great. I can't say enough good things about this figure. Just look at all of the detail that Hot Toys puts into this, and I don't know, I can't say enough. You even have like wires behind the knees. You have like the posts on the knees as well. The details, the That surface rust just gets me. I can't believe how good it looks. Now when we get the figure in hand, you can just see how it glistens in the light. And that's going to be thanks to, obviously, the die cast. It has a really good weight to it. It is super heavy. Again, the surface rust looks so good. It's all over the body, and it just makes it look like he's been walking through Tatooine and in the desert, and you know, it just looks realistic. So very well done. And you know, the wires in the abdomen area look really good too. Going up to the head sculpt, even the eyes, when they're not lit up, you can see the dark pupils in there. It looks super realistic. You got these delicate parts here on top of the head and then on the upper chest. Be very careful of those. I'd hate to have you snap those off just by like trying to pose the figure or whatnot, so be careful of that. The wires in the abdomen area are like loose fitting. They're secured in there, but they do have a little bit of wiggle in them as well. They look really good too. They're not just painted on the body like the Sideshow version is. And then you got these really cool working pistons that allow you to, you know, get some rotation or get some movement in the arm, and there is some slide ability there too, just so they can be a little bit more forgiving and not really break. You got the silver leg here on the bottom, but it's not as like in your face as the Sideshow one. I think it blends in really well. And then going to popping off the face here, I did something that I have never done before on a review, guys. I put batteries in this figure because you have to see C3PO with the eyes on, so I was not going to jip you of that. And I think he looks magnificent. I really wish they could have figured out a way to make this like USB-C powered so that his eyes could always be on. But I think they did a really good job with the lights off, that he doesn't look super dead. Like, you can still see his eyes, and I think it looks pretty good. Now we'll pop this one off. There's just a toggle switch here for on and off, and the 3 batteries just fit right in there as well. Now let's get the secondary head sculpt, and we'll just turn the light back on, and it just pegs in. Just make sure you hit the pegs right, and would hate to have you like break something or anything like that. But here he is too. The one eye lights up, and then you have the other eye that's out of the socket. This looks pretty cool, but again, this isn't going to be how I pose my figure, but just so you guys can see how good this looks with the lights on in the eyes, it's a work of art. Going over articulation, it's going to be a stiff figure, very stiff. Had to work it out of the box. The head is super tight, but it can turn side to side, tilt, and look up and down. On the shoulder joint, you can move it here, and then that's going to allow you to get the arm up to like a 90 degree. There is some movement in the shoulder as well, and then we do have those pistons that, you know, slide and are working and seem pretty solid, but I wouldn't push your luck. It's really cool too on this piston. I don't know if you can see, but like the silver part, there's actually like speckled rust there too, just to make it that much more realistic. But then again, you do have that movement right there just below the shoulder, and then you do have the normal swivel for the hand pegs or the wrist pegs. Not a lot of swivel in the abdomen area, but there is a little bit of crunch. You can arch back a little bit and then move forward, but you're not going to be able to do ton of dynamic poses with this. The legs were super tight. I really had to work them out of the box. There's a little bit of swivel there, and then you can move it just a little bit, but then it kind of rubs up on itself. And then the knee has like a ratcheted joint to it, but it only goes to about there as well. And just be careful of that piece there too. Again, pieces that if you're not careful, you could snap off. Now let's get the Sideshow C3PO out next to our Hot Toys version, and you can just see this isn't even close. These figures are worlds apart, and I understand one is Sideshow and one is a lot older, but I didn't think that this would be that big of a difference, and that's why I overlooked getting this figure. But I'm glad that I came to my senses and I picked him up, because you can just see, even in the face, this looks totally different in the eyes. Like, again, the one on the right is not lit up, but it still looks better. The proportions even look better, but the biggest thing is these paint applications. The Sideshow one, you can see the difference. It's like a night and day difference from that silver to the gold, where the Hot Toys is more like blended in, and then in hand they just feel totally different. But look at the paint apps, totally different as well. The surface rust on the Return of the Jedi just really makes this thing look super realistic, and even some of the intricate details are just different. The wiring is so much more different in the Hot Toys version as well, and then you can just see there's a little bit of like grime and weathering on the Sideshow, but the weathering is totally better on the Return of the Jedi one. It's not even close. But Sideshow was a good placement holder, but for now it's gotta go. Like, there's no comparison, and in the hand it feels more like a toy than anything else. All right, so now let's get the figure into some poses and talk about some of the things that I like about it and some things not so much. The first thing that I really like about this is that it's die-cast. I know Attack of the Clones was die-cast, but I don't have that figure. I've had the Sideshow version, which is plastic, it's cheap, it's lightweight. This is amazing. The paint applications look great. The surface rust puts this figure over the top. The eyes look amazing lit up, but they also look great when they're not lit up, so that's a plus too. Also, what do you give C3PO as an accessory? He doesn't come with a whole lot, right? So you give him another character in Salacious Crumb. It's an amazing accessory. It is cool that it articulates. The paint applications look good. Such a cool looking character. And then the third thing that I really like is the base itself. I like that they're getting away from the rectangular sand bases. They're being a little bit more unique. I love the circular base to it, raised up a little bit higher so you can tier him with your other figures. Going to some things that I didn't like as much, we're going to stick with the base. I do wish this was USB-C powered. Would have been cool if those lights on the bottom there were just able to be lit up and just add a little bit more vibrance to the base. And I know, you know, Hot Toys is starting to do that more, so it would have been nice if they did it with this one. And the next thing that I didn't like as much is the fact that it didn't come with any articulated hands. Not a deal breaker by any means. I just, you know, most of our die-cast figures come with articulated hands, you know, with articulated fingers, and this doesn't. So just would have been nice to get those hands in a little bit more of a natural pose and be able to bend the fingers and whatnot. Just one pair would have been cool. So outside of that, there is nothing that I really dislike about this. I am super over the moon about how good this figure came out. I'm so glad that I didn't waste time and I picked him up. And, you know, I didn't think I needed him, but turns out I really, really did. He puts the Sideshow figure to shame. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments below, but I also need your help on how I'm going to pose him in the display. So I can either put him back with R2-D2, how I had the Sideshow version, and you can see it just like that, or I can put him on his base with Salacious Crumb in front, and then I can put R2 over with Bespin Luke. I want to know what you guys think looks better. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.